All right, guys, welcome to the very first episode of the new rebranded podcast, Raw Thought. All right, I started off doing the Built Different project, and whilst I was enjoying doing it, I don't know, I felt like I could get a little bit more personally out of something along the lines of what I'm going to do today. If you can hear my dog snoring in the background, I do apologise, but like loud little Frenchie, okay? But Raw Thought, what is it? What's it going to be about? Now, I'm still going to get guests on and stuff like that, but I really want to dive deep into my own thoughts and my own feelings. And I know that a lot of the time on social media, on Instagram or on YouTube, I come across as, very motivated and disciplined and 100 mile an hour. And whilst I am like that, I'm also an extremely deep thinker, and I want to show a little bit more the vulnerable side of myself and the way that I think and the way that I go about life on a day-to-day basis, and the things that I think about in business, in relationships, in life, and actually really find answers for myself about these things. I'm someone that, I got a bit of stuff going on in life and I'm stressed out, it does actually really consume me, and I find hard to sometimes navigate through these things when I don't talk about them or I don't think them through. So what I'm going to do is each week just have 4 or 5 things that I've thought about through that week, and really dive deep into the thought process behind them. And I don't think I'll ever have an answer to any of the questions or any of the topics that I'm thinking about, but maybe you guys will be able to take something away from what it is that I'm saying and challenge your own thoughts and ideas, or help you along the way in your journey, because, we're all growing, we're all learning, and I want to help as many people in any way that I can, really. So if I can help you guys think through something, that's what I want to do. So without further ado, this is Raw Thought. I don't... That sounded dramatic, like there was going to be a big intro or something, but I don't have an intro song or anything like that yet. So let's just jump into the first one. You're going to hear this little sound between each topic or point, just to break it up so it doesn't, guys don't get confused, okay? So let's start at the end of the sound. All right, guys, my first topic or my first idea that I had, these are backdated a little bit, by the way, just because I haven't had a chance to do a podcast in ages, and it feels so good to be back doing it. But the first thing that I was thinking about one day or last week was I was listening to a podcast about success, and I thought, what does success actually mean? And it's a weird one because I think it's very different to everyone, like extremely different. If you guys have ever heard of the World's Strangest Secret, their definition is success is the continual or the progressing pursuit of a worthy ideal. Something along those lines, as paraphrasing a little bit, but pretty much it's that success means having a goal and doing things in order to get there, or working in order to achieve that goal. Now, I think most people, it leaves a lot up to interpretation, and it also means that, success could be anything. If you have a goal to party every weekend or to get as fucked up as you can, as many weekends in a row, and you're working to get there by going out and partying, that would mean that you're successful. So I think it can be skewed a little bit. Now, when I was a bit younger, I used to think that success was having so much money that you didn't have to work on the weekend. You didn't have to work, sorry, so that there was no difference between what you did on the weekends and what you did during the week, because, money wasn't an issue. You could do whatever you wanted. Now, I think probably when I started JBM and started 4AMCO and stuff like that, that changed a lot for me, and I thought that, or I believed that success was enjoying what you do so much that there is no difference between your weekdays and your weekends. Not in the fact that you have to work, but that you are happy doing what you're doing in your life Monday through Sunday. Now, not many people can say that. So I then also thought that I guess that doesn't actually really mean you're successful either, because you can be successful and hate your job. You can make a lot of money and you can tick goals off and stuff like that because you're good at it, and you might not necessarily love doing it. So I've come up with a new definition of success, and this is one that it's going to be really hard for people to not to understand, but to accept and acknowledge. And it's even a little bit hard for myself to accept and acknowledge. And that's because I don't believe that anyone is truly successful, at least forever. Now, what I mean by that is I believe that success is being the 100% best version of yourself, right? Now, that means in relationships, in family life, in sport, in the way you look in terms of your health and fitness, in business, being the 100% best version of you in whatever endeavor that is. Now, that seems, pretty straightforward, and whatever, but the thing about that is that there's always a way to be better, whether it be, like I said, health and fitness, business, money, financial. There's always a way to be better. So I think that people are successful, but unless you're continually driving and progressing and trying to be better and trying to be better and trying to be better and trying to be better, I don't think people will stay successful. I think they can have success, but they're not necessarily a successful person. So my definition of success, I think that I've settled on, is the pursuit of the greatest version of yourself. If you're waking up every single day doing the work it takes to be the best version of yourself, I think you're successful. I think successes will come along the way, whether that be money, promotions, whatever it is, sporting wins. They will come along the way in the pursuit of success or successfulness, which is, again, continually striving to be the greatest version of you. But that's my definition. I'm really keen to see what you guys think. So leave a comment on YouTube or send me a message when you hear this and let me know what you think. What's your definition of success? All right, guys. Number 2 for this podcast, okay? This is environment is everything, right? Now, there's a bit of a tricky topic at the moment for myself, but I realised that because I was going through a bit of a hard patch in personal life, and environment is everything. And I've always known that, but being in situations where the environment's not, the best for you mentally, physically, whatever it is, it's draining. So draining. Now, when you walk into a room or to a house or to a group of people, and you know that the energy is off, and then therefore that environment is off, it can completely change you. It can completely change you as a person. It can change the way you think, can change the way you act, without you even really knowing. Now, everyone always knows, everyone's always says it, I guess, the environment is everything. But I realised, like I said, how important it is, because over the last couple of weeks, like I said, I had a bit of stuff going on that I won't talk about on here, the details of it. But when you're in an environment where it's not suited to you, or the things that are happening around you take you away from who you want to be and what you're trying to get or where you're trying to go, it can cripple you. And it's a little bit embarrassing for me to say, but not embarrassing, but a little bit, it's a bit hard for me to say that I was crippled by the environment. I have been so shit with work lately, so shit with training and eating and stuff, because consumed by the things that are going on around you. Now, a lot of the time, people don't even realize that the environment they're in is hurting them. You know, people that are drug addicts don't see that the people that they hang around make them worse. You know, people that are thieves or criminals or gang members, you know, don't realize that they're hanging around fuckwits until, you know, they get away from it. And this is just, I guess, a note to self and also advice to anyone else. Make sure your environment's good. Make sure the people that you're hanging around are there for you and want to see you succeed. Make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, trying to achieve, you have an environment around you that helps you get there, not tears you down and makes you worse. If you're listening to this and it makes you think about your environment, then there's probably a good chance that you're in a bad one. So just take my advice that environment is fucking everything. The most important thing you can do is just be the most authentic version of you and do what you believe is right. And if the people around you or the environment that you're in doesn't serve you and where you're trying to go, get out of it before it's too late. All right. Number 3. This is a deep one. Hey, like, reading these back, I know that I can't even, you know, have answers for them, I don't think. But this is a topic or a phrase that's thrown around a lot. Everything happens for a reason. I know all of us have definitely heard it. Most of us have probably said it. But I wonder if it actually does. Does everything happen for a reason? And, you know, people always have the arguments, if everything happened for a reason, why would there be starving kids in Africa? Or why would there be natural disasters, an earthquake, or people dying of cancer? And that's the thing that I'm trying to challenge and trying to understand, is that if everything does happen for a reason, what is it? And when these bad things happen, why do they happen? And when they do happen, or if you know that things do happen for a reason, how do you find what that reason is? And this is something that I really, really struggle with. Like, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I do believe that the things that, you know, we come across in life, the challenges, you know, the wins, the losses, the unforeseen circumstances, the arguments, whatever it is, it happens for a reason. But it's finding that reason, or finding out what that reason is a difficult thing. Now, I don't have the answer as to how you do it, but I know that in order to find that answer or find that reason, I think you need to I think the best thing you can possibly do to find the reason is, again, to be the most authentic version of yourself and do what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Now, what I mean by that is when these bad shit things happen, I guess the thing that I'd go to is, could I have been better? What could I have done in this situation? Is it my fault? Or how do I improve it next time so these bad things don't happen again? It's, I guess, an issue of self-awareness. And now that I'm talking it out, and this is a perfect example of why I said I wanted to do this podcast, is that talking it out, I think that instead of understanding, or instead of thinking, why did this happen to me, or why did this happen, it's a matter of why did it happen for me. And whilst that's shit and, you know, bad things happen, I think that if you guys can, if you're in the same situation, think, you know, instead of why did this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? Why is this happening for me? what can I take from this situation and grow with? What can I take from this situation and try and be better at? And what lessons are the situation telling me? Are they telling me I've done wrong, I've done right, whatever it is? I think everything does happen for a reason, and it's what we take away from it that matters. Not necessarily what's happened, but how we grow, how we learn, and how we get better from the situations that we're dealt. What do you guys think? Do you guys think everything happens for a reason, or do you think shit just happens randomly? Do you think the universe is putting into place everything that it's supposed to and everything works out the way it's supposed to, or not? Let me know. But I think that was a really good one, because I think I found the answer to that myself. But yeah, everything does happen for a reason. All right, number 4 for this podcast. Okay, this is, again, another deep one. Jesus Christ, I think that I'm a normal, pretty cruisy, not a deep thinker, or I know that I'm a deep thinker, but this one's a fucking full-on one. Okay, what makes a good person a good one and a bad person a bad one? This is this is probably the hardest question for me, because I really actually struggle with this in myself, because I try really hard, and I actually try really, really hard to be a good person. I make a conscious effort of trying to. And I know that sometimes the things that I do, don't come across that way, or I hurt people, or I make people feel ways that I didn't mean to make them feel. And the question that I ask myself is, does that make me a good person doing bad things, or a bad person that pretends to be a good one? And if you're hurting people and you're doing the things that, you're not intending to do, what is it that makes you a bad person, or what is it that makes you a good one? And again, I don't have the answer to this, but it was just something that crossed my mind. And who also is the judge of whether you're a good person or a bad person? What are the qualities of a good one, and what are the qualities of a bad one? If you have the qualities of a good person, let's say compassion, kindness, thoughtfulness, sympathy, empathy, love, the list goes on. If you have those, but you still do shitty things, does that make you a bad person? Or if you're the opposite, and if you're, selfish and self-centered and unempathetic and childish, immature, negative, nasty, but you do things that make people feel good, does that make you a good person? I don't know. And I don't know if anyone has the answer to that. If they do, I want to know, because I try fucking pretty hard to be a good person, and I know that I still disappoint people and make people feel shitty, or come away from situations knowing that I could have handled them differently. Does being a good person just mean that you're in pursuit of being a good person? Or does it mean a specific set of rules to live by, to follow by, to make sure that they're the things that you do? What do you guys think? Let me know. All right. Number 5. Last one for this podcast. This is going to be a bit more of a light-hearted one, because the other ones have been pretty deep looking back at them. But this is just me and a description of me. I realised that I am an extroverted introvert. Now, I know a lot of people probably like this, but I used to always, say that I'm extroverted, I love being around people or whatever, but fuck, I don't, at all. Like, I am very, very confident. Like, I'll happily go and talk to a random in the gym that I think, I could be able to talk to, or if I see, someone that's famous or that I like them as a person, even though they wouldn't have any idea who I am, I'll go and talk to them. I'll talk to restaurant owners, cafe owners, Uber drivers, whatever it is. I'll have a conversation with anyone, and I'm confident enough to get up on a table in front of hundreds of people and do a public speaking and everything like that. I've got friends that, love to be around me and all that sort of stuff. But I've realized lately that, fuck me, like, I would happily, and I say this like almost a little bit worried about myself, that I would happily live by myself and talk to no one. Now, I don't know if that's because, over the last couple of years, my job has been fucking talking to people non-stop, messaging people all day, every day, dealing with so many people that you get sick of it, or it's just who I am. But there's something about just being by yourself and doing your own thing that makes me so happy. And I don't know, I was just wondering if anyone else is like that. Do you guys like being out around people, hanging out with people, being extroverted and being in group settings and stuff like that? Or are you like me? Would you happily sit at home doing nothing, or doing whatever it is that you like to do, but doing it on your own? And if that is the case, why do you think it is? Do you think it's because people have hurt you, or people have annoyed you, or do you just like your own company better than other people? I don't know. But that's the closing thought for today. I hope you guys have been able to take something away from it, or it's made you think, or it's challenged your beliefs or your preconceived notions about anything that I've talked about. That's the first episode of Raw Thought. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very keen to see what you think of this style of podcast. See if you want me to keep doing these things, and also give me some things to talk about, or ask me some questions that I can jump on here and really actually think about and talk about in detail, because I enjoy this. It makes me feel a lot better coming out of this, actually having some of the answers and getting some of that shit out of my head rather than keep it in there swirling. So appreciate you guys listening, tuning in. Like I said, keep supporting me and I'll keep doing this. Appreciate all you guys, and I'll see you in the next potty. Later.